we're gonna do an Ask Me Anything. This is something that I do over on Instagram. I also do it in my Facebook group sometimes, and I get some really, really great questions. So I thought I'm gonna take some of those questions, I'm gonna do it here, and just answer some commonly asked questions. Some of these are going to be questions directed at me and what I've done and fillers and Botox and stuff like that. And then some of these are also just good old skincare questions that I've gotten over and over, and I thought it might be nice to answer for a bigger audience so that if it's a question you've had, you'll get it answered. So I want to get right into it. I'm going to read them off my phone. I have so many. If you are not following me over on Instagram, you really should, because I'm doing these 1 or 2 times a week now. And honestly, I will spend a whole entire day answering questions and putting them up in stories. Then I save them in like a highlight bubble. I have 2 of those highlight bubbles now because one bubble only holds 100 questions. So I've had to make a new highlight bubble. And so if you ever want to just flip through tons of questions and answers, then that is a really great place. I will link my Instagram at the top of the description box in case you want to go check it out. It's a really fun place and it's super duper interactive. I'm in there every single day and I just love it. So anyway, here we go. We're going to start off with a bang. This one is, what fillers do you use in your face and your lips? And I get this question a lot, and I understand because, you know, people are just curious. So I'm going to break down what I've done recently because I really haven't done a lot of fillers over the last like 5 or 6 years, mostly because I have a very full face. And honestly, I was always trying to kind of sculpt my face more than add volume. However, in the last 10 or 11 months, I've changed a bunch of things about my lifestyle and really reduced inflammation in my face and lost some weight. And so the volume in my face also went that way as well. It went down. And so I have put a little bit of filler back in my face. And so what I've done recently and what I want to share with you is a couple different kinds of fillers that I learned about that I think might be interesting to a lot of you. One of them is called Redensity. Now, Redensity is kind of like a filler and a skin booster combo. And where I've done that is above my lip, not in my lips, but above my lip. And also I've done just a little tiny bit in my tear trough area to bump out that kind of hollowness right there that I've had forever. And if you've been on this channel, if you've been following along, you know that's been something that I've dealt with forever. But Redensity is actually just a different kind of filler and it's very exciting. So what happened was above my lip, I actually dissolved old filler maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit longer now. What happened is I thought I had some migrated filler from the couple of times in the past that I did lip filler. I have not done a lot of lip filler in my life. I've done it twice and didn't really like it either time. I don't know why I did it the second time since I didn't really like it the first time, but both of those times were at least 5 years ago. Now, we are learning these days that filler sticks around for a really long time, and it definitely has stuck around in my lips and then migrated out. We dissolved above my lips year plus ago or so. And what happened was it exposed basically all of the muscles above my lip. It literally just aged this area like you would not believe. Well, I decided I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna bother with it. And about a month ago, we went ahead and put Redensity back over that area. So I dealt with it for over a year. And then when I learned about this Redensity filler, I was like, okay, that's something that I feel comfortable putting above my lip. It's not about a lot of volume. It is very much about your skin. It's got skin booster in it, like I said. It's meant to fill in very fine lines and it's meant to move with you. So it doesn't kind of look bulky and lumpy and stuff like that. And like I said, I put a little bit into my malar crease area. And then I did put a little bit of filler in my cheeks, not a lot, just a little, as I had lost some weight. So that's the filler that I've done recently. Beyond that, it was years ago, okay? So I'm not really, I mean, I know that you guys think that it's like tons of filler, but that's really the filler that I've done recently. And the other thing that I have done in the last 6 or 7 weeks, one time, is 2 vials of Sculptra. So a vial on each side of my face. And I do think that I'm sort of starting to see a little bit of the volume here that I lost when I lost weight. I did film the process and I have been taking pictures, and there's a good chance I will do some content on Sculptra down the line if it's of interest to you. The other thing that I have done that's not filler, but it is something that's really interesting, is I have been getting polynucleotides needled into my skin. And that is a skin booster. And I am going to do content. I have been filming that. And originally what I was doing was really about the under eye area and hoping that polynucleotides might help with density, elastin, obviously collagen, dark circles, brightness, the hollows, all of that stuff. Now I'm in the middle of that process and I'm kind of pausing on it because I have a lot of things going on and I don't have time to have downtime. But I am thinking that this is something that might be really interesting to a lot of you because I do think that it can help this under eye area. It is not crazy expensive. It's becoming more and more popular, so it's available in more places. And it's really about, working on your elastin, working on your collagen, brightening the skin, and really working on the quality of the skin and the cushiness of the skin, which can help with the appearance of hollows. If you're interested in more details or you want more specific content, just let me know down below and I will make full videos on Sculptra. I am going to make a full video on polynucleotides and microneedling with them. I've been collecting footage and all of that stuff. I will also link down below where I've gotten my Sculptra injections, and also I will link down below where I got my polynucleotide microneedling, because there are two different places here in Portland and they are my two trusted clinics here in Portland. If you live nearby, they are amazing places to get your services. I will link them. Okay, this is a great question. It is, should I invest in at-home RF, NUA or tripolar, and which one do you like most? And basically the only RF at home that I've ever really committed to is NUA. I have not been using that recently, but I will tell you that I did see that Dr. Rajani is now carrying NUA in his storefront, and he's recommending it, which is really interesting to me because he has a clinic and he has all the in-office modalities. And so it's really kind of neat to see that Dr. Rajani is sort of backing at-home RF. He recently did a video where he talked about doing NUA around the mouth to work on fine lines, and it definitely got me kind of interested because I do think that it might be something that might be helpful. So if you are somebody who has the NUA or any of the at-home RFs, I don't know, that might be something really interesting to try. I do the zip around my mouth and I absolutely 100% know that it helps encourage circulation. I have shared with you guys before I do a zip treatment and then directly after, and how much more blood flow there is and how good that is for the lips. And so I will probably do a little experiment with the NUA and see kind of what it does underneath with my Reveal camera. But I do recommend at-home RF. There are so many caveats. Number one, it is nowhere near as powerful as in-office RF. Number two, the results are incredibly subtle and they take an immense time commitment. So I have not personally been using my NUA for a very long time, mostly because I do not have the time to commit to it. I religiously do my zip and I religiously do LED like every day. I am very committed to both of those modalities. Especially LED. LED is so easy to stay compliant with, but I haven't even picked up an at-home RF for a really long time. I know that if I want to see any results, you have to be incredibly consistent with it, and the results are going to be incredibly subtle. So you have to have really reasonable expectations to know to even bother to invest. Here's another question. This one is, are you still using OneSkin? If so, when and how? So I'm not using OneSkin right now. And this is kind of a broader answer to a question like that. First of all, I used OneSkin for years and I absolutely loved it. I used the body lotion for even longer than I used the face lotion. I loved the face lotion. I still recommend it. I still think very highly of the ladies who developed that. They are just wizards and the science is amazing. The deal is you can only use so many things, and so many different products say they want to be on your skin first that at some point you have to make some decisions. So for me right now, I choose to have my Photozyme, and that one is important to me to have on my skin first. That's my youth recovery, and that's just what I do. So I cleanse my skin. I usually do a toner. I wait a little while, and then I put on the Photozyme, and then I do an LED session. After the LED session, I go on with serums, antioxidants, humectants, moisturizers, SPF, stuff like that. That is how I arrange my skincare routine in the morning right now. Now, when I use things like Reviv Serum, which also is supposed to be on the skin first, or if you use like Calcium MAC, or you use any other growth factor that says you're supposed to have it on your skin first, you just have to make some decisions. And sometimes those decisions are not using other things. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Everybody has to decide for themselves what are the important things for them. For me, DNA repair, hands down, most important thing. I have seen a change in my skin as far as lightening of hyperpigmentation, brightness of my skin, overall tone improvement, that especially once I combined using the DNA repair with LED. The combination of those two things seems to really be wonderful for my skin, for the brightness of my skin, the clarity, all that stuff. So that's really important to me. I just don't have room for one skin in my routine anymore, so I don't use it anymore. And I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that. Sometimes what we have to do is stop using something so that we can fit all the other things. You just have to make those decisions. So here's another one I get all the time, you guys. Which brand of hair dye do you use? Your hair looks healthy and shiny. So there's a few things here. Number one, I actually haven't colored my hair for about 1.5 years. So all of this is just my natural color. So you see how shiny that is? That's because there's no hair color on that hair. It's just been growing out. This is old, lightened blonde from 1.5 years ago. And the reason why it's that length is because unfortunately, it broke off. And so that is part of the reason why I haven't colored my hair for so long. I decided to just completely give my hair a break and deal with the fact that I was going to have these kind of funky roots. I have some grays in there. I don't have a ton of gray, but I have some grays in there. And I was like, I'll just deal with it. The other thing that's really important to know is that this is my hair right here. That's my hair, but this is hair extensions. So they kind of just mix together. I don't have a ton of hair extensions in my hair, but I have a little bit just to boost the density of my hair. But as you can see, like this, that's my hair. See how dark that is? That is my hair. We have a whole, thing going on with my hair, but mostly I'm just trying to let it be. So I don't really have a color that I can reference to tell you. I would say that I'm probably about a 6 neutral with a little tiny bit of warmth in there. If I had to replicate my color at the colorist. But yeah, that's my hair situation right now. I do still use my Revitalash foam, trying to encourage my hair to grow a little bit faster. I still do use the higher dose, the LED cap. I use that every day for 10 minutes. It's super duper easy. That's really kind of been my hair growth strategy. And thank you for the compliment. And I wish I had a color that I could tell you to use, but it's just what's growing out of my head. Okay, this is a product question. It is, what's a cushiony, thick moisturizer for bedtime? I have talked about Soothe and Recovery from Dermatology forever. You guys, it is such a great nighttime moisturizer. I love to just slather it on over everything else at night. Another one that I recently discovered that is so good is Skin Fix, and it is like their triple lipid, or it's, I will put it up on the screen, but it is so good at night. It's another one. It's in one of those little pumpy kind of containers. So I pump out a couple pumps of it and really also just slather it on. I will say that the Dermatology Soothe and Recovery is definitely a better value because you get 3 ounces and it's somewhere in the upper $30, and then there's always discounts on it. So you can get it for, low $30 range, and it lasts a really long time because it's a great big tube. But that Skin Fix, I saw it somewhere here. Somebody else, one of my skincare friends, I believe, recommended it. And so I took the plunge and bought it, and dang, it is a really excellent, heavier than the Dermatology, slightly more moisturizing and a little bit heavier than the Dermatology Soothe and Recovery. So if that's been something that has been just a little, like, you think it's a nice moisturizer, but it's not quite, thick enough for you, then look at that Skin Fix because it is so good. I'll link those down in the description box for sure to make sure that the right one is there, because I do think they have a few different moisturizers, but it's in a little blue tub that you can pump out. What do you think of topical exosomes? So this is an interesting question, and the way that I answered it, it probably surprised people, but I think that topical exosomes are really, really exciting and really interesting, and really I'm hopeful about them. But then on the flip side, I also think maybe they're a little bit of BS. I am not a chemist, nor am I somebody who is steeped in science. I only know what I've kind of taught myself and learned because I'm kind of a nerd and I've tried to learn. I don't know how much of it is us being fed the BS. That said, I'm really excited about it. I'm really hopeful about it. I know that the doctors that I've talked to, like Dr. Robin Smith, who has exoceuticals, really, really interested in what she had to say. And she is, we're talking Harvard or Yale, both undergrad and medical school. The woman is incredible. And so when she's talking about her topical exosomes, I was like, okay, I do not think that is BS in any way. However, I do think that in the industry, it's kind of like how much of it is legit, how much of it is, BS. I don't know. I actually don't know, but I'm hopeful about a lot of it. And I do buy into it personally, but I think that we have to kind of be cautiously optimistic about stuff like this. I also think that spending $268 on a half an ounce is like craziness to me. So if I'm going to be cautiously optimistic, I also want it to be like not, a mortgage payment for half an ounce, that kind of thing. So that's where I kind of am on the fence about it a little bit, but I'm hopeful. I get a lot of questions about favorite neck cream, and I don't really have a lot of neck creams over the years that I've really loved, and I do not think any neck cream is going to lift our neck. I don't think any neck cream is going to eliminate turkey neck. I don't think any of them are going to do that. And I would never tell you that a lotion or a potion is going to do something like that. I have had a neck lift, but I still know the importance of caring for the skin on my neck, like the texture of my neck, the discoloration on my neck, all of those things. It wouldn't matter how lifted your neck is. If your neck looks terrible as far as hyperpigmentation and also the texture of your neck, it doesn't matter how nice and tight your neck is, it still will look like crap, okay? So that's where I think our skincare comes in. There are two different neck creams that I've used over the years that I really do like. And the reason why I like them is because they're formulated with glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid. It's gonna help with the texture. It's gonna help with hyperpigmentation. And the two that I really like are formulated for your neck, so they're less likely to irritate the neck. One of them is from Dermelect and one of them is from Neocutis. Those have been the two that I have enjoyed over the years. But again, I don't really think that you need to have a dedicated neck cream. If you want to just use glycolic on your neck, if you can tolerate that, if you find one that's good enough for the sensitive area of the neck, using glycolic and then putting just your skincare on your neck and hydrating and moisturizing that skin, that's great. That's good enough. The other thing that has come out recently that I do really like for the neck is the Dermatology, their neck contouring serum. It's a temporary effect. I did a whole video on it, but it definitely does give this really nice surface area. It looks great for pictures. It will help blur necklace lines. It definitely kind of snatches up the neck, but it's all temporary with the ingredient Pullulan in it. That's something that I've really enjoyed, and I can see myself definitely using it throughout the holiday season for parties and stuff like that, because it does make your neck look really, really good for like 6 hours or something until you wash it off at night. So that's a neck product that has been impressive to me recently. Honestly, if you have a really, really good facial skincare routine that you pull down your neck and onto your décolleté, you're probably pretty good. So the next question is, what skincare products do you recommend for mature, dehydrated skin? So literally, I think the light layers of hydration are the way to go. I really think that several layers of lightweight stuff versus some heavy moisturizers will make your skin look so pretty and so naturally hydrated versus like a heavy, greasy, just a heavy hitting one-time moisturizer will do. That might be nice for overnight, but for the day, I really do think a beautiful mist, then a couple lightweight serums, even if it's the same serum reapplied once or twice, then a nice lightweight moisturizer and your SPF, or you may not even need that lightweight moisturizer and your SPF. But the idea is to feed the skin that hydration, that drink of water, that drink of water, that drink of water, then a nice lightweight moisturizer to help trap that in, your SPF, and then I think the skin just looks naturally hydrated because of all of that, just feeding. It's like if you had a glass of water and you only took one drink, you might not feel like you hydrated yourself. If you took a drink and then you take another drink, and then you take another drink, and you do that for 10 minutes. By the time you're done with your glass of water, you feel good. You feel nice and hydrated. You don't feel thirsty anymore. Same for your skin. As we mature, our skin loses hyaluronic acid. It loses the production of hyaluronic acid. So feeding that topically is going to help those surface layers of the skin plump up, look more hydrated, look better, and also it's going to help with our barrier function, which is going to help with all the other things that we want our skin to be doing, like, stimulating collagen and just all the processes that need to go on. They need a healthy barrier in order for them to happen. So lightweight layers of hydration, best for mature skin for sure. I'm going to do one more fun question and then I'll leave it at that. You can join me over on Instagram if you want to see literally hundreds more questions answered over there. This one is, do you get Botox regularly? Then she said some nice things. Yes, I definitely get Botox regularly. I don't actually schedule it. I kind of wait until I'm like, whoa, I can see every single, whatever. And then I will call my best friend who is a doctor. I will make an appointment with her. Mostly I like to get this middle furrow area, and then I do a little bit in my forehead. I like to have some expression and motion. I will do my bunnies every once in a while. I'm noticing that I'm really, starting to furrow, and it's right there quite a bit. I will do that if I remember. And then something else that she does is my chin, and I absolutely love it. If you are over 50 years old and you like Botox, you get Botox, talk to your provider about your chin because it's pretty incredible. It doesn't do anything with motion or anything. What it does is somehow it helps to improve the texture of this chin. And as we get older, I don't know, that area becomes very textured. It can start to look almost like orange peely. And Botox there, it's not a lot of units. It stops us from like dimpling inadvertently, and it just smooths the chin. It's really one of those things that's like crazy underrated and so good. Probably once a year, maybe twice a year, I might get my DAOs, which are these depressors, and that will lift the corners of my mouth. I don't always do that. Every once in a while I decide to do it, but lots of times I don't. So that's my Botox routine, and it isn't very scheduled. It's probably 3 times a year, and it's just kind of as needed. I personally like Botox. I feel like it has kept my forehead as smooth as it's probably going to be. I also just feel like it feels nice because I don't furrow. Even when my Botox is worn off, I just don't have that habit. I like the effect of Botox personally. So yes, I do get Botox. All right, you guys, those are probably some of the most frequently asked questions that I've gotten recently. If you have any other questions, you can leave them down below. I'll do my best. Obviously, I'm very wordy about it, so it's hard to answer them necessarily in comments, but I can make more videos like this if you're curious. I'm really happy to answer skincare questions, routine questions. If you have layering questions, interaction questions of skincare, all that kind of stuff, especially over on Instagram where I can answer it kind of succinctly in stories. And like I said, they're saved in my highlights under Ask Me, and then I think it's Ask Me Too. And I'm sure there'll be more highlights as these questions get more and more. But I'm really happy to answer any of your questions. I hope that you are having the most wonderful day. I hope that this was enjoyable, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.